Hello everyone. Over the past 3 weeks, we have covered various advanced features of Excel. These features help us process big data sets quickly and accurately. With that skills, now we can move on to form and reports in MS Access. Access is a DBMS, database management system. All DBMSs are designed to provide database management features like creating, updating, and deleting information in data tables. Access is a popular DBMS which has basic features in a user-friendly design. It can be used in small to medium-sized organizations and businesses. If the volume of information and the number of users who need to access the database is large, other DBMSs such as SQL Server and Oracle are used. In this course, we cover Access and its main features like reporting, creating report and form. And if you're interested in learning SQL Server and Oracle, I encourage taking advanced database courses. So in this chapter, we are going to work with form and report features in Access. One of the advantages of keeping data in a database is that we can easily present data in attractive reports and forms that highlight certain information. Reports present data in an organized format that is usually printed. The data can come from one or more tables. We can also use forms to modify data. By modification, I mean adding, deleting, or editing data records. So the main objectives intended for this chapter include creating report and form using wizards, modify reports in layout view, and conditionally format controls, resize columns, filter records, also print reports and forms, add a field to a report and form, and etc. The project that we are going to work on in this lecture is the Bavant Publishing project. That company needs to keep track of its sales information to target customer needs by using database of customers and representatives. Using forms and reports, Bavant hopes to improve their decision making and meet their specific needs. This figure shows the first report where uh, records are grouped by these records must be grouped by the type of customers. And also in this form, we have the second report. It encompasses data from both the book rep table and customer table. So Boban also wants to improve the process of updating data by using a customer form. It needs to create a form like this to be able to modify information in the database. So in the first part of this project, we will create a form and we're going to be familiar with different features of form creation like wizard and layout in layout view of the reports in Excel. And in the second part, we will create this form in Microsoft Access. So now let's go to our Access form. I'm going to use this form, this Access file, Bovan Publishing. I'm going to copy it to my desktop. Here in this database, We have two tables: book representatives, customers, and some predefined queries to fetch intended data from the database. And we have some predefined forms and reports. For the first part of the project, this company needs to group the customers, um, group them uh, form by customer type. So we can right click on the customer report, customer financial report, go to layout view. These are the contents of the customer financial report. We have these fields: customer number, customer name, type, and etc. That company needs to organize this report and group those reports by customer types. We have three types: uni, com, and hs types. So the first task is to group this report by these customer types. So we can click from this menu, design menu, we can go to group and sort and click on that. And from this sub menu, we can define a group. So we want to group our data set by customer type. So now we have our data grouped by these customer types. And within these customer types, we have customer numbers, customer name, and other fields. And within these groups, we can sort data, for example, by customer name. Here is the first task. The second task is to calculate the total amounts for each of these fields. For example, amount paid, current due, total amount, and etc. Within each category, within each group like com, hs, or uni, we can calculate the total amount. We can click on this variable, amount paid, and then from total menu we can click sum. And we can do the same for the other numerical variables like current due, total amount, and return. So from this menu, we can select some certain values that meet our conditions. This is called conditionally format controls. For example, uh, the company needs to see those values that are equal to or bigger than $6,000. We can highlight those values from conditional formatting. So we can go to format and then select this column, amount paid, and from conditional formatting we can define a new rule. We want to highlight those values that are bigger than or equal to $6,000. We want to highlight it with red font. Click OK. And here you see that uh, those amounts have been highlighted. The other feature of the form and report is the filtering. We can filter out some values that do not meet our conditions. For example, we can only see those values that do not equal 0. Okay, so here is the report, and we can also print this report and make define background image for this report and make some other formatting. For example, from print we can select quick print. I do not have any printers connected to my uh, laptop, so I can print it to a PDF form. I'm gonna name it test print. Let's see what it looks like. Test print. Here we see that our database data table is grouped by customer types, and within each type it is sorted by the customer name, and we have highlighted those values bigger than $6,000 in the amount paid, and etc. And we can also do add some new features, add background image, change its theme, and etc. Now we have designed our report in the layout view. We can move on to the next step, creating a report from two tables. So we can, for example, click on this table and go to create. From report we can select report wizard. Let's say we want to select records from both book representatives and from customer. For example, from book representative we can select number for first name, last name, and then from the customer we can select customer name, amount paid, current due, total amount, return, and etc. Next, here is the layout of our report from these two tables. Next, and we can sort our values, for example, by customer name. Next, we can define our layout. I'm gonna leave it as a stepped for the layout and orientation as portrait. Next, and I'm gonna call it book representative wizard for report. So here we have our report, which is grouped by the representative, the list of customers by each representative or each bookstore. That's how we can define a report from multiple tables, and we can make some changes to this report. For example, add background, add new formatting, and we can also print this form and see that in a PDF. That was the first part of this chapter, which was designing and working with advanced feature of uh, report in Microsoft Access. In the next lecture, we will go through form creation, and we will see how we can modify data records using forms by adding removing, deleting, and updating records um, in forms.